Okay, let's start with today's meeting. First, we'll take a look at the global markets. I think the biggest overnight news is the spot gold price. Okay, so what happened is last night there's a big drop in gold price, and today there is a follow through to the bottom. Um, it reached to the bottom roughly about 12 noon, and then it finally had a strong rebound back up. So this is the hourly chart. What you can see. So all the way down to our Singapore time about 12 noon or 1 o'clock, and then it starts to rebound back up. So judging by how this hourly chart looks like, right, there seems to be more upside, probably tonight or something, for gold to rebound. Okay, so for this, most likely this is a quite a deep correction. So most likely it's going to consolidate in this area, about 1860, 1850 to about 2070 thereabout. You'll consolidate within this range for a few months, due to this type of deep correction. So at this moment, I think stocks like CNMC, Black Gold Resource or Anchor Resource or something like that, we can skip those companies, and then we just focus on other stocks to trade. So at this moment, gold will likely to consolidate for some time. Okay, so next one we are looking at is okay, before I go into the other stocks. Okay, firstly, the spot gold price has dropped drastically, or a big pullback or consolidation, but the dollar index over here did not rally. Meaning to say, most likely, what I see is that the funds, right, are probably rebalancing their portfolio because all the precious metal had rise too high, so they will have to sell some of their portfolio to rebalance it, and then they have to use that to buy into other funds, probably US index, or some other currency or whatever, depending on their allocation. So, which means to say they are selling gold and they are not holding any cash, they are not holding any US dollar, and therefore this dollar index did not rise at all. This is my personal opinion. Okay, so we'll take a look at the S&P 500 index. Okay, this is the S&P 500 index. What happened last night is there is a lot of selling happening, which means investors are taking profit. They are, what about, they're scared. Right now it's testing its all-time high over here. Okay, so there is a lot of people who are trapped here. They're already selling, getting their position out, break even. Psychologically, they're quite weak, after going through this kind of deep correction. So this type of pullback is what we call is bound to happen. So we like to see how the next few weeks, right, is going to turn up. If you can do a nice correction pullback, maybe meet this 50-day moving average. It might then become a positive sign for the whole economy, the whole global stock market. Whereas this for the Nasdaq, what happens on the Nasdaq is that there are already a few days of selling happening, so probably they are leading the rest of the US market. As we know, they are already running an all-time high. These are pre-COVID times. They did a correction, and then they rebound and break and make up a new all-time high. Mainly is being pushed by the tech companies, your Amazon, Apple, Facebook, all this, whereby even there are some of the gaming companies, like Take-Two and all this, whereby a lot of people are like staying at home, watching Netflix, playing games, mobile phones, and all this stuff, and so that are driving the Nasdaq to all-time high. So currently, it's doing this correction. This, I would say, here is the trend line in which they would have to test here. If it breaks this, then it will be bad in a short to mid-term basis. You might see some prolonged correction, happening. And if that happens, it might also lead the rest of the market, the S&P 500 and the rest of the global markets into a correction. Okay, so the next few days, we would like to watch more closely, what's going to happen around this area. So I've mentioned before the last week that hopefully you can see Hang Seng testing the support area and then rebound back up. So hopefully what happens today is that the past few days yes rebound, okay, and then yes it's testing this resistance at this moment based on today's rally. So this is a good sign. All right, and we would like to see how this one turns out. Hopefully it can just rally back up and then stay above this 200-day moving average. So if that happens, right, then that will be a positive sign, because overall in the Hong Kong market, China market, I'm seeing stocks already starting to run, making new highs. So hopefully Hang Seng, because it's financially weighted, lots of financial companies and property companies, so this has been weighing down the index. So if we take a look at the STI, it's also following suit with the Hong Kong index, so having a small little rally today. Mainly also is bouncing off this 2,500 support, and but the whole look of this whole thing it looks weak, as compared to other markets. Even like Indonesia market seems to be like turning up. It did a consolidation sideways and then it's breaking up today. It broke up today. Some like Thailand still consolidating. So, but these are some positive signs. It seems positive that it might consolidate further and turn up. Whereas Singapore, it might ding dong sideways and turn down from the looks of it at this moment. So we like to. I can't be very confident in trading in the STI index or index stocks for that matter. So the main thing is we just need to focus on the strong sector. Okay, so some of the strong sector I've mentioned before, medical stocks. Not to Don't need to say this is the strongest sector. First we have the medtech. Well, medtech, after this so-called big correction with the most of the other medical stocks, it has already rebounded and make a new high. And it did this consolidation, but then it just gap up and traded higher. Okay, so I'm not too sure what's the news today. Didn't really have the time to find out because of the gold trade. So, but this type of a euphoric move, right, reminds me of this stock a long time ago. Okay, so this is what Blue Mon looks like, and MedTech has been moving like in a similar fashion, similar trend. Okay, so those who know that we have I've recommended Blue Mon like 8 cents, 20 cents, 40 cents, 80 cents. And it has went up all the way to, this is a adjusted price. That time the high was about 240. Okay, so and after this style of euphoric move, this is a crash that happened. Okay, so the only slight difference is that MedTech have slightly more fundamentals. Why? Because they manufactured masks and gloves and protective gear for the current pandemic situation, COVID-19. Okay, so but at the current PE ratio, right, is about 336 times, and that does not what I call it doesn't, the fundamentals of this company does not match with this current price level. All right, so this is really, from here, right, it's already a speculative run. We just have to be very careful, because if you want to trade this, it's more like gambling. You bet big and small, you bet big, you win. You bet small or tail, you lose, and that's it. You bought here, you caught in this thing, and something I don't know. All right, I don't like to go through that blue mon crash again, you know. So just be careful of your position. So some other stocks like Riverstone are already looking at some consolidation happening, trying to wait for fundamentals to catch up. Okay, so if you like comparison, right? I mean, P ratio is just about 78, 79. It's on the high side, but as compared to MedTech, you know, MedTech is already like in a euphoric mood. Okay, so Riverstone is likely going to consolidate, and then from here we like to see how most likely it's going to take a few months. Firstly, for fundamentals to catch up, for this technicals 50-day, 200-day moving average to catch up also. So we just have to watch here. So what we can do is we look at the second sector, second strongest sector, which are the electronic manufacturing sector. Okay, so UMS, I've mentioned here 108, 109, 110 is roughly the resistance area. And also, it's been consolidating sideways for a week, and there is some movement today due to morning. Morning doesn't trade very well. It has a mini sell down, and then it recovered back up, meaning to say the sellers are not there. All right, so this is a good sign. Okay, and we like to see if can break out in the next few days this 108, 109 price. Okay, so this is a this looks quite positive. High P in the morning, I kind of like write it off, but then it did this doji. So in a manner is quite still quite okay. Okay, sort of like trying to rebound above this or trade above this 200-day moving average. Okay, so most likely it's going to take probably 1 or 2 more weeks, you know, before it can break off this new high. Okay, so from the looks of this, right, what I can see that in June, Apple had announced a lot of new products coming out. Probably going to, I know I'm not an Apple fan, but I know their history is that they used to launch they will launch it in their annual conference and then probably like ship it in September, October period, you know, which is like the next few months. So most likely this is an anticipation for the next quarter or the year-end result, you know, that's going to happen in 3 to 6 months time. Okay, so most likely this is going to consolidate for a few more weeks, you know, and then we would like to see if we can break off this resistance area about 138 to 140. Okay, so this is a positive sign. Most likely I might see this if you can trade sideways, right? On much lower volume, I might look for a trade on to see whether it can rebound back to this resistance area. Okay, so this is high P. Okay, venture mentioned for a few weeks really together with the other electronic sector. So previously I mentioned $19 here is the resistance area. There's a sell down, pullback, you know, or there's a pullback, and then it continued to trade up again due to earnings. All right, so this is a very positive sign. So from here, what you like to see if we can do some minor mini consolidation, something like that, you know, sideways or down, retest the this support area, and then we can look for a new trade to trade. Hopefully, you can trade all the way back up to its pre-COVID high, you know, like $30, 28, 29, $30. Okay, so that's still a fair bit. This is venture. And we have Silver Lake Axis. Okay, Silver Lake. Personally, already I took profit yesterday. Okay, for this mainly because of a lot of news like Trump, Nasdaq they are selling and all these things. So I just take my one-hour profit and then I will try to look for a new trade to enter again. So, but overall, to me, I'd like to see how this one turns out. And if it turns out to me as a trader, I don't mind entering at a higher price. Okay, so um, like from here, most likely it's going to consolidate for a few more days again, and we'll see how this one turns out. Okay, Keppel Corp. As mentioned over here, most likely Temasek might cancel their deal. All right, so they only waited until this whole drop that they confirmed that they are canceling the deal, and therefore the drop yesterday all the way down to 480. So with that uncertainty out of the way, most likely Keppel Corp might see some further rebound. Okay, if you look at the hourly chart, there's a lot of volume buying up. Okay, and then compared to the rest, right, on lower volume, there are some profit, maybe cut loss. Those who are trapped here, they cut loss, but people are still accumulating. So this is a nice rounding pattern with a high here about 490. Okay, it's a rounding pattern or a cut pattern. Do not know whether we will form a handle or something or not. No, but there are chances of a high chance of a rebound happening, probably to an area of let's see, what, 20 cents, 490, about 510, 520 to cover this whole gap. This is the gap area. Most likely you will want to cover this gap. Okay, so if you rebound to that area, or you try to long this, once you reach this area about 510 to 520, probably you can look to take profit. Okay, I think last week or 2 weeks ago I mentioned about Yang Zhejiang. Don't really like it, but likely to rebound to hit this. So I think it's somewhere around here that I talk about this rally. I remember this rally. I talk about this. So if you were to enter, most likely you will be so-called, this is a fake break, to cause people or make people to stop loss, get out of stock, and then they rebound back up. Okay, so these are some of the things. The reason I don't know why this happened, but I know in me that tells me don't trade this. You know, so most likely it's still going to come. It's retracing back, going to test the support again. So it's going to ding dong sideways again. Most likely once it hit the congestion area, right, then you will start to see a real trend happening, either up or down. Okay. So at this moment, I still avoid. I will not trade this stock. There are some of the penny stocks that had movement. Saw some people entering this. This is Vic Plus. I really noticed this stock last week. I wanted to talk about it, but the thing is, I do not have any info on this. I checked the SGX website announcement. There's no announcement. SGX queried them, and they say they do not know what's happening with this stock. The only latest news, they bought over a subsidiary, which is a loss-making or negative asset. So I'm not too sure what is running this. Probably insiders or something. So most likely news is going to come out later. So we like to see how this one turns out. We just keep this in view. All right. This one is a penny stock. Recently listed. Okay, illiquid. We do not know what happening. Listed somewhere in March 1 last year. Okay, so what happens is they had earnings. Probably like they make up $6 million. Good earnings. Okay, and then thereafter, the next day, there are insider trades by directors. Okay, so um, I don't know, something is happening. Probably they might announce contract wins. As we know today, HDB announced a new launched a lot of estate, for HDB. A lot of projects are happening again. Construction works are restarting again. So most likely they might announce contract wins or something. I'm just thinking about what is going to happen. Okay, so for this, if you can see some sideways movement happening, probably you can look at a nice trade to if you break out the high here of um, 5 cents. Okay, so this is a penny stock. I want to set alert. Probably seems interesting also. Okay, so by looking at this, it reminds me of my brother's company. Okay, Singapore Pain Care recently had IPO at 22 cents, and then there are some trading happening, and then went all the way down to about 18 cents, and then it rebounded to 22 cents, this kind of stuff. So what happens right now is that from what I know, they are going to announce results like end of the month. Which date I'm not too sure. I don't think they have given any notification yet. Okay, so I know roughly end of the month. Why? Because I'm in the blackout period. I cannot buy this stock, for 1 month until the end of the month, until the result is out. Okay, so but why I bring this out is because if some of you have read the prospectus, they raise they raise money. IPO is not for working capital, it's not for operation use, it's more for acquisition use. They are going to buy clinics. All right, so um, now they are still not announcing results. Probably, maybe I would say maybe after the blackout period, they might announce. So they might announce acquisition. I just based off some of my experience. Buying a clinic is roughly about like 1 million, 1.5 million. Buying a specialist probably about 2.5, $3 million. So they raise about after all expenses, they have about 4 mil plus. Most probably they're going to acquire like one GP, one specialist. So just based off this calculation and based on their prospectus, what they have wrote. Okay, so at this moment they have not released any news yet. So I don't know, probably in the near term, next few months, they might announce some of this acquisition news. Okay, this is not insider trade. I've not met my brother, I've not talked to him yet, so I do not know exactly what is it, but this is purely just based on their prospectus. Okay, so this is Singapore Pain Care. Okay, so for Singapore, actually, there are not much happening already. So I'm going to share some Hong Kong stocks. I don't know. I just like this stock. Though I do not have. I only went there, or in my entire life, only ate there like twice. Okay, so this is Hai Di Lao. Okay, mentioned many times. Over here, over here, over here. All right, that this is Hai Di Lao. It's an all-time high stocks. Most likely it's going to make new high. And past few days, there's this rally happening. Okay, it broke off this all-time high price. So actually, it's easy to know Hai Di Lao is continuing going to make new high. The reason is because it's associate Yihai, which I've mentioned. They produce condiment soup base for Hai Di Lao. Okay, so previously I mentioned Yihai and Hai Di Lao, right? Yihai is only here, and now it has $60. It have risen over to $100. Up like 40%. So with that, most likely Hai Di Lao is likely to start chasing. You know, uh, Previously Hai Di Lao was only like here, so it recently broke off. So most likely going to start chasing Yihai's price. Okay, so 40 plus, I don't know, 50, 60 could be possible. All right, so this is an all-time high price. I'd like to see how it pull back, consolidate. If you like to trade Hong Kong stocks, you can look to trade in this. So there are some of the big cap one. Okay, Hong Kong is the Hong Kong index is going to have a revamp towards the end of August. So which means to say there are companies like uh, Alibaba, probably JD.com and all this, might get featured in the Hang Seng Index. So I'm not too sure. I have to wait for the revamp. So there are some of the banks, the smaller market cap banks like Bank of China, ICBC, and all this have this sell down after the news was announced, of this Hang Seng revamp, roughly in July. So most likely, Bank of China or ICBC is going to get kicked. From what I look at the chart, it's going to get kicked out of Hang Seng Index, and then to accommodate these stocks like Alibaba, JD.com, Baidu, something like that. Okay, so you can look into some of those stocks, like Hong Kong 998 is Alibaba. Okay, and this is 9618. This is JD.com. Okay, so even though they are listed in the US, they are also secondary listing in Hong Kong. Okay, so this is one. Then there are also some stocks that seems to be turning up. This is a newer development. Okay, so this is the downtrend line for over a year. This is a COVID time. And then recent now, he has already broke up above the trend line and trading above the 200-day moving average. Okay, so this is a nice sign. So if you can complete here, test this 4140, hopefully do a cut pattern, do a handle, can look into trading this newer development. And this is Geely Auto. Okay, similarly, it has, what I got this. Okay, this is the resistance. Okay, and it shows a pattern of base and is trying to turn up. Okay, so this is the 200-day moving average, has been trading above. Okay, and it's a good sign. Retesting this high, $18. Okay, so from here, most likely it might start to turn up, as the economy starts to open. China is already open. They are doing already a lot of internal and domestic flights. Okay, so that is that. And one more, I think is this Good Baby International. Seems like turnaround stocks. Okay, it's doing this. It kind of like broke its downtrend, right? And then it's trading above this 200-day moving average, consolidating sideways. Okay, so I like to see how this one turns out. Hopefully breaking up this high here of 150, 149, 148, 150.